We're joined via Zoom by Elton Hart from the University of Johannesburg Law Clinic. Elton, good afternoon. Thanks for your time here on the SABC. Elton, I believe you're on mute. If you could unmute yourself. There we go. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. So it's been an eventful day, lots of court proceedings, two that come to the fore, the Bester case as well as Senzo murder trial. Let's start with the Bester case. Dr Nandita Marogatomana as well as 3 co-accused back in court and obviously postponed for the bail application postponed to the 11th and 12th. Perhaps on the developments that unfolded today, what did you observe on that front?
Now, obviously, there was now a lot of things that was happening, and obviously new legal representatives came on board. And as the state alluded to, they were ready to proceed with the bail application, but I think there was also instructions, and it's new instructions that was given to some of the legal representatives, because some of them withdrew and some came on record. So we don't know who of them were actually ready to actually proceed, because the bail application is going to be opposed. So it will take some time. And not to actually call witnesses to come to court time and time again, because if we have proceeded maybe with Nandita's bail application and I think accused 3 and 4, then maybe next week would have been called back the same investigating officer to come and testify and say, give the court the same reasons why he's opposing bail for the other people. So I thought after the discussions, it looked like it was just now a clash of diaries. That's why the guys were going hard at each other and even suggesting that another state prosecutor can be brought in to actually come and do the bail application. But it's not as simple as that, because this prosecutor has been dealing with the application from the beginning. He knows the facts and he knows on what basis they are opposing it. So for a new prosecutor to come in, he will first have also need to study the docket, and that would have also occasioned a postponement. So either way, we were going to postpone because of various factors. It's not just on the state side. There was also on the defense side that certain things crept up pertaining to dates and also people receiving new instructions that actually delayed it a little bit today.
Elton, can you confirm whether the murder charges against Dr Nandita Marogatomana were dropped or not? If so, how does that impact developments and proceedings regarding the bail application, if at all?
No, I did not hear them dropping charges. I actually heard them actually adding additional charges to the charge sheet. So for me, I don't know, because they cannot spell out the murder charge now, because there's still evidence that needs to be laid, and only the court can make that decision now at a later stage. But for them to say that they're going to drop it at this very early age or very early stage it's premature. I don't think the state will will go that blunder, because obviously somebody died here, and even if they didn't murder him, there's manslaughter charges that might come up, or maybe even that corpse violation. We need to get through all these things, because the rest of them can be competent verdicts for murder. But I did not hear them saying explicitly, because I followed the proceedings to say that the murder charges were dropped. I heard that they were adding some other charges of defeating the ends of justice to the other people and some other charges that was added, but I did not hear specifically if the murder charge was dropped. That I will be able to see come the 11th.
All right, Elton, thank you for that clarity. In a separate matter related, though, I mean, the Bester case, regarding the Bester case, the Department of Correctional Services deciding to terminate the concession contract with G4S. Perhaps you could talk to, whether this was inevitable and the processes, the implications, I mean, the clauses and payouts, etc. What was happening behind the scenes upon this decision?
Obviously, if one looks at a contract will have some sort of escape clauses as to if there is certain breaches that cannot be remedied, that a contract can be terminated, but it should be in the contract. Obviously, yeah, this thing, yes, this escape is now brought a lot of media attention and interest of the South African population. But we just heard last week, last week, there was also 2 escapes in the Eastern Cape prison in Makanda. And that is controlled by DCS. So for me, it's like the contractual issues, because for DCS to terminate a contract, they need to show that there was gross negligence on the side of G4S, that this whatever escape was not foreseen and they could not help it. And there is a lot of things that one needs to now check and see, can I terminate the contract? And if they terminate the contract without looking at the clauses, then it will speak to what is the remainder of the contract balance, and can they pay it out, and what penalties would come with that. Obviously, there will be a penalty to G4S for allowing Thabo Bester to escape while they were in control of the MCC. So that there is monies, but I think for DCS to cancel the contract, there is a huge chunk of money that's going to be paid. But it all boils down to what is the escape clauses and breach of contract clauses that is in that contract, and how they would deal with it, how you will give another party an opportunity to remedy their breach and show that it will not happen in future, and maybe relook at how the penalties will work. But I don't think it's just an easy step in and step out type of contract.
Yeah, and also, I mean, with DCS now saying that they will resume with internal exercises for a takeover process, one is to question whether the resources are in place, given the challenges and gaps within the system at large. Perhaps I could turn your attention to the Senzo Mayiwa trial that's also currently underway. We heard that there's going to be a press briefing from Advocate Therefore relating to some issues. We also obviously seen the witness take the stand, more details emerging. What can we make from the developments since the trial resumed after 6 months?
For me, I just see the Senzo Mayiwa case for the state on the state side is just going deeper into the dumpster than it was, because already you can see that this guy also how he's testifying, sort of, and this is just his examination in chief. We will still see how he pans out when it comes to cross-examination. There is already things that he's saying that's contrary to what Tumelo Madlala has said, and also the way he's testifying about certain things. Now, clearly, and one needs to test now at some stage, because now this guy remembers dates very clearly, and it's things that happened approximately 10 years ago. He remembers them, and the time span he was tortured. He's saying he was tortured for 3 to 4 hours, but yet he did not open a case. Yet there is no medical reports showing that this torture, because a torture of 3 to 4 hours, there should be serious injury that was sustained by this person. And yet there's no medical reports and stuff like that after he was released. So for me, it's again that I don't trust this witness either. Although he was in the house, his testimony say he ran out of the house and then he heard a shot. He didn't see what happened, and now he's giving evidence as to what happened. He shielded. So a lot of things with this witness for me doesn't add up as a legal practitioner looking at how he's testifying. And this is where the defense attorney is going to have a field day with him to rip him apart, and then the contradictions will start coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one has to wonder whether justice will be denied. Perhaps also looking at the issue of the JSC and the judges in question. How do you think this is also impacting dynamics for the legal fraternity at large?
No, definitely, where they're now looking at Judge Maumela, where the JSC is now saying that they want to suspend the guy. Obviously, if they suspend Judge Maumela, then the trial cannot commence. If they suspend him, we don't know how the suspension will work. Then it might even mean that a new judge needs to be assigned to this case. And if a new judge is assigned, then obviously the case will have to start de novo from start, and that will again delay the case. Then it will be again justice delayed, justice denied. And then you need to recall all the witnesses that has testified. And we already know that there's two or three of witnesses that's already disappeared. So this again will now have spanner in the work. So if one looks at this thing, it's just going to take another 2 to 3 years for this case to be wrapped up, if they're going to actually remove the judge now. Because we're already seeing that getting court dates, getting witnesses available is already taking, because we're just coming now from a 6 months postponement. Are we in if a judge has to be replaced, another 6 months for a new judge to come in and set new dates? So for me, I just see a lot of things, and the man on the street will just perceive this as the justice system failing us. And if this can happen to Senzo Mayiwa, what about the ordinary man on the street?
Elton Hart, you're raising pertinent questions there. Thank you for your time and for your analysis here on the SABC.